Hey, what's up? I'm Adam. If you're new here and if you're returning, then you know what's good. I wanted to give you guys kind of a fitness update slash share some of the tips and things that I've picked up from my fitness journey over the last few months, because I've seen changes in my body that have been really interesting to observe. I am one of the heaviest I've ever been right now. I am 146 pounds, but I'm also one of kind of the leanest I've been whilst maintaining muscle and strength. And it's been really interesting to see this and how my current exercise routine as well as my diet has contributed to effectively me seeing recomp for the first time maybe since I was, first getting into the gym. Newbies often experience this because their body is not used to this, that they're building muscle very quickly and things like that. But when you've been gymming and training for years, sometimes you start to feel like you're plateauing, or you have to kind of be in these extremes where you're bulking, or you're shredding and things like that, which is kind of like things that I've been through. I will say this is why using the scales alone to kind of determine your progress is not effective, because if you're building muscle at the same time, the scales may not be moving at all. They may even be moving up slightly or down slightly, but your body could be changing dramatically, like remarkably. And if you're only using that, then you can kind of like have a false sense of failure, or just not progressing. So that's why you've got to use things like progress pictures, taking actual measurements with tape, all those sorts of things effectively. Okay, so let's just get into it. I'm going to split this kind of into like the exercise section of it and then like food and diet, because that's pretty much, that's the winning combination. Okay, so first, exercise. Now, surprise, surprise, I haven't quit lifting. Like, it's still the cornerstone of my fitness routine. And sometimes I don't go too much into fitness in this channel because I don't want to say it's boring, but like I do what works and what I enjoy. And often those are the same major lifts or, certain resistance machines and things like that. And I know I see a lot of things on the internet, which is, no problem, everyone's doing their own thing, but they're quite extravagant things going on, and sometimes there's kind of crazy things happening in their gym routines to spice it up. I can't come and break something to spice it up. And whilst variety is really good, especially if the reason you're not progressing and wanting to go to the gym is because you're bored, then there are ways that you can introduce different things into your routine, which I'm going to talk about to kind of achieve that. I have a weight training session 5 times a week. And I'll do a major lift, like a compound lift, such as some sort of squat, deadlift, bench. Like I'll do one of those at least 3 times in the week, but I'm doing other things. Like I'm doing bent over rows. I'm doing shoulder press. I'm doing a lot of other things in resistance machines. And if you're more interested in things like that, I do have my guide link down below so you can kind of see what my workouts look like. And so, boom. Just kind of being really focused on that and actually being consistent with it and just enjoying my sessions. That's where the muscle is. Where the muscle resides, Like, it's in lifting. The thing that has changed dramatically is my cardio and my cardio sessions. So I kind of fell off cardio because I was just not really that into it. But as a result, I wasn't really seeing my body do what it needed to do. Like, I think lifting is great and everything like that, but the calories I was consuming still wasn't leading me to the body that I wanted to get. Like, I still felt like I had too much body fat on me. So lately, as in the last, I want to say 6 weeks, I have been incorporating cardio into my routines a lot more. And there's a mix of cardio that I've been using. So I've been using HIIT, high intensity interval training, or just like high intensity training, and low intensity training basically, or steady state. So those are the kind of 2 that I've been doing. HIIT classes is really basically I've been going to spin. I've spoken about before, spin is an incredible way to burn a lot of calories very quickly. It is very intense, and I won't lie, don't think you're going into a spin class and it's going to be all a little cheeky little cycle. No, like dripping with sweat. But it's been great, especially on days when I know that I kind of want to consume something quite heavy, like I'm eating rice and stew that day and I really want to go ham on this rice and stew. Boom, go to the spin class, feel no type of way. So yes, I've been doing that. I've also been doing boxing, which I spoke about in another video. So these kind of classes are a good way for me to get in more high intensity cardio sessions, right? Where I'm, you know, in that environment, that group environment, there's an instructor there who's kind of pushing us. I'm getting to do different things because the spin classes are like, they've got your brain engaged because you're up and you're down, and then there's this going on that. Boxing, I've got to do like routines and like, you know, combinations, sorry. And so that is keeping variety in my cardio, because that's where I think things go wrong with cardio, especially for me, is if I am bored of that cardio, I'm probably not going to maintain it. I've got to have a sip of my cup of tea. This is becoming a bit of a staple, isn't it, my cup of tea? So yes, that's high intensity. However, that is not appropriate for me to do every day. Like, I'm training a lot, so doing those high intensity sessions, because sometimes I'm working out twice a day, and I'll go on to why I'm working out twice a day in kind of the low intensity stuff. But sometimes I'm just not moving enough. I work from home, which means I'm not getting out enough. I'm not moving around. There's kind of walk to the station and things like that you would do when you work in an office or in the city or whatever. It's not happening. And I have to just be honest with myself that Monday to Friday, I'm not moving enough for the amount of food that I'm eating. So my options are to reduce my food. No, I will not drop in my calories any more than what I already have. And then, so up the exercise. So on the days when I haven't done something like spin, so say I kind of trained in the morning and I did say back, then I'm on maybe like 4,000 steps. So I'll go to the gym and I'll just walk. I'll put on a YouTube video or series of YouTube videos and watch those after work and walk myself up to 10,000 steps. I mean, I'm probably going to chill and potentially watch some YouTube videos or research some stuff anyway, so why not do that whilst I'm on the treadmill? And this is why sometimes I'm training twice a day. I'm still resting. There are still at least one day of the week, usually 2 days of the week, where I don't do any lifting, any resistance training. So I will just instead maybe just do cardio. So I might just go to the boxing class on a Saturday, or I may, you know, things will change up like that, but still resting. But that mix and using classes and using low intensity training is a good way to kind of balance out my routine effectively. The final change that was made is for the last 4 weeks, I've had a personal trainer. And this was more because I wanted to do several things. I wanted to make sure that as I'm lifting heavy, that my form is still intact, that, you know, that in that sense that I'm lifting safely and effectively. In all fairness, the first time I lifted with my PT, it was like, your form, it's refreshing to see someone with such good form. That's not to say that you need to go to a PT with good form. I mean, half of the job is really to make sure that you were performing things safely and effectively. But it was nice to hear that and be reassured of that. And where things were slightly like out, like sometimes my weaker leg kind of wants to bend out slightly in certain exercises under load. So it was good to kind of get that recognition. I still, the majority of the week, follow my own guide and my own routines. But on that day, I get to do certain things. So if I'm thinking, you know what, I'd actually like to do something like a different type of a deadlift with like the trap bar or something like that, let's do that. Or, you know, I kind of want to do a more volume-based workout for legs today, so let's do something like that. Or the PT will suggest things to me. So that's what I've been using my PT for. It's been a good 4 weeks. I'm still deciding whether I'm going to go on, and I think I'm going to do it as I feel it more than necessarily every single week, but that's still a work in progress in terms of thoughts. But if you have the resources and you're finding yourself kind of plateauing, or you want to try new things, or you want to really work with a PT on your form and things like that, really do consider getting a PT. I'm yet to meet someone who worked with a PT and regretted it. And I worked in a gym for several years when I was at uni. So, okay, so I've banged on about exercise quite a lot, but I mean, the recomp, sweetie. So in terms of food, I think the biggest hurdle I had to get over is not being afraid of food, or not being afraid to consume too much because I want to be leaner. Typically, of course, if you want to reduce body fat, you think about getting into quite a high deficit. But I knew that I didn't want to lose muscle. I knew that. Like, I've done it before where I have got lean very quickly, but at the consequence of losing muscle as well. I have kind of kept my calories. They range really. Some days I'll eat more and I'll just eat more. Other days I'll eat less, and it kind of balances out by the end of the week. But I'm not calorie counting. And calorie counting can be very useful. I'm at the point now where I've been calorie counting on and off for so many years, I kind of can gauge things. Like I know if I drink, you know, this particular drink, this protein shake, I know has this many calories roughly. I know, you know, this steak has this fish has this, these egg whites, 3 egg whites fried in some butter has this. Like I have an idea of that, so I don't have to. But tracking can be important because, I mean, I've spoken about before, but often we're eating, we just don't know how much we're eating or if we're even eating enough protein, which is of course the next point. My protein intake has increased. I think it's increased quite significantly, as has my fat, interestingly. Like I'm cooking everything really in butter. That's really the only fat I use. I don't use the spray things, the low fat sprays. I don't use anything like that. I cook in butter, typically organic butter or unpasteurized butter, and that's where I'm getting a lot of my fats from. Also, I obviously eat things like fish. I eat things like more red meat than I used to. Mainly lamb. Lamb is my favorite, to be honest. So let me kind of actually just take you through what I might eat in a day. So before the gym, I'll have some sort of stimulant based thing. So usually a coffee with potentially some milk, so like a latte or something like that. If I'm going early in the morning, because I can't always eat a large amount of food, especially at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's just not gonna happen, but I need something. So I'll have a coffee, something like that. Cool, come back from the gym, I'll have some breakfast. So if I'm gonna wait a while for breakfast, I'll have a protein shake. If not, then I'll go straight to breakfast, which will be something like eggs, like I've said, salmon, and some plantain. So that'll be breakfast. Cool, lunch rolls around a few hours later and I'll have some salad probably with a protein sauce. I might have like some steak, like kind of cut up in it. I might have some chicken with it. Typically those are the things I really have with it. And then for dinner, I may have something like sweet potatoes, chicken legs, some vegetables, something like that. And that's been working for me. And I'm moving enough, you know, between my lifting, my weight training, my resistance training, and my cardio to justify this. And my body's soaking it all up. It's soaking up all the exercise and the movement. It's soaking up all the nutrients that I'm consuming, and it's going really well. If recomp is what you have in mind and you're not trying to lose muscle, and you may even try to be building muscle to an extent, you're definitely not trying to lose, then you can't stop eating and you can't reduce your calories to the point where your body's under so much stress. It can't maintain that muscle, as I've kind of spoken about before. That's all I kind of have to say about that. I kind of want to update you because I noticed the difference in my body and I was like, wow, like this is a big difference. And wherever you are, maybe you kind of needed this. I always kind of thought, oh, maybe recomp's just never gonna happen for me now. Like I've been in this game for too long, but staying the way I'm at and seeing such changes has been really interesting. I'll see you in the next video. Happy lifting, happy training, happy cardio, and happy eating.